following announcement has been paid for by the new
Wealth Management Advisory Club. Hey everybody, it's the president of the Wealth Management Advisory Club, Jack Mitchell here. Welcome you back to another exciting WMA club meeting. But before I send you guys off to the meeting, I got a couple announcements to make as always. First of all, I want to clear up the confusion with the in-person locations on our Metro campus. Yes, I did state that the room was going to be the room we're going to be using this semester. However, it has now changed because if anyone was trying to be at that meeting on Thursday, unfortunately, the room that we reserved did not have Zoom capabilities. Luckily, over the weekend, we were able to resolve this, and we have now made reserved 2 rooms at Metro for this semester. So Metro members, pay very close attention to this, what I'm about to say. And again, if you do forget, you look at our social media pages because we did make an announcement on there. So for our bonus meetings, which are going to be every Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m., the meeting will be held in Dickinson Hall, room 1170. For our regular meetings, which are Thursdays from 4 to 5 p.m., they will be in Dickinson Hall, room 1104. And obviously, if you cannot show up in person, which we would love for you to do so, you can come on Zoom, as it is optional as well. So I just want to clear that up to begin with so that, there's no confusion going on for the rest of the semester. And do not worry, these will be the permanent rooms for this semester, Metro. Don't think I'm going to make you guys go to another room and do that. No, believe me, we are not going to have you guys do that. The second thing I wanted to say is thank you guys so much again for all the love you've been giving at our meetings. Within the past, I think last week's meetings we had a grand total of 1,996 people watch it live, which to say that is crazy for a club that is at FDU Silverman, for a school that is so not really small, but for a medium school. It just warms my heart. The e-board's happy. Our advisor's so pumped up for it. And again, I want to thank you guys so much for giving us love on all of our meetings, all of our you came in person, YouTube, watching at Rumble, Getter, Twitch, all those great platforms. So again, I'd like to thank every single one of you guys again. And do not think we're going to stop there. We have a lot more left to go for this semester. Finally, it is time to feature one of our sponsors. Yes, we're going to continue to do this every single week. And obviously, just as a forewarning for the next 2 meetings you probably are going to hear, you're probably going to hear Fleet Invest. Just want to forewarn you that. Do not think it's an error, because if you look at our schedule, they're coming in twice. Just want to clear that up. But again, today's meeting is sponsored by one of our great sponsors here, the WMA Club, Ripple Match. Are you looking for a simpler and better way to finding your perfect job or internship? Look no further than Ripple Match. Ripple Match is a revolutionary job matching platform that helps you quickly find the best jobs and internships for you. They use a unique algorithm and data-driven approach to match you with employers who are looking for someone just like you. Unlike conventional job search sites, Ripple Match allows you to easily create a profile that showcases your skills and experiences. They then use this profile to match you with employers who are looking for someone who has specific skill sets. Plus, it's free to use, and we're not lying. With Ripple Match, you can easily find positions that align with your skills and interests. The platform also provides access to exclusive job and internship opportunities and insights into the hiring process. You can even use their powerful search filters to find the perfect job or internship for you. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today and start your journey to find the perfect job or internship with Ripple Match. So if you click our link in our link tree, or you go to our website, go to our sponsors page, you click our Ripple Match link, you will be able to create a free Ripple Match account on us. I'm not joking when I say that, guys. A free Ripple Match account on us and on Ripple Match. Again, I'd like to thank Ripple Match for being today's sponsors for this meeting. So with that out of the way, if you guys are ready, I know I am most certainly ready to get this going. I'm about to send you guys
And now, our feature presentation.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Wealth Management Advisory Club meeting. I'm just going to forewarn this for all of our members here. Please stay behind. We have a couple of announcements to make after this meeting. But today, for our second bonus meeting, the 2023 semester, we have Rodney T. Kornegay from Kornegay Kapital Group. I'm sure a little bit about him, and I'm going to let him take it away from there. Rodney Kornegay is a seasoned and experienced financial advisor ready to work with you to help you ensure you and your family's financial future. He has a bachelor's degree in finance and a bachelor's degree in management from the College of St. Joseph's, Vermont. After almost a decade in the industry working with New York Life, Rodney made the decision to open Kornegay Kapital Group. Over the past 9 years, he has worked with numerous clients to help them choose, invest, and manage plans based on their goals. In his free time, Rodney enjoys spending time with his friends and family, frequently favorite restaurants, especially if lobster and cod are involved, and cooking. He stays active by running, working out, and playing basketball. Rodney loves to read, with these being some of his favorites: The Power of Fear by Soria Persum-Calete, The Energy Book Busy by John Gordon, then The Power of Habits by Charles Duhigg, and Purple Cow by Seth Godin. He also loves to spend time perfecting his craft from others. And with that, I'm going to let Rodney take it from there. Guys, let's make this engaging if possible. Please turn your cameras if possible. Have questions prepared. And with that, Rodney, I will let you take it away.
Yeah, I would say just definitely first, thank you for having me there. There's a few ways that we can kind of just have an open discussion if you guys want to talk about just the career in general or just what we do. So just kind of give you just some background on just Kornegay Kapital Group. That's just my DBA through New York Life. So I am an agent through them, but I also represent about 40 to 45 other companies as well. It just allows me that as, you know, I'm meeting with clients or prospects there, I'm able to just offer anything on the insurance or the finance side, as well as I also do some fee-based planning, you know, as well there. So I have, you know, anything that the person's looking for, I'm able to do, you know, through those companies. And just to kind of give you guys some background just on some of the products that we offer, of course, New York Life is a life insurance company. At the end of the day there, we do, of course, any of the annuity, IRA, brokerage business, you know, college planning there. So, you know, we have the full gamut of just products there that we offer there. And they're coming up, you know, on 178 years of doing business. Just means that they've been around for a long time. You know, very good at what they do there. So, you know, I'll just leave it as that there and just see if there's any questions there, because I can go into depth. I have slides that we can kind of go through on some of the things that we kind of offer and what we actually do, you know, or we can just have it as an open discussion there if you guys just have questions.
I think our members would actually like to see the slide that you actually prepared today. If you could do that, that would be amazing if you could do that.
Yeah, I could definitely do that out there.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, good. Sorry for coming in a little late.
No worries there. All right, so let me pull up the slide here. Let me know when you guys can see it.
We can see it.
So this slide, this is telltale of just what we do in general, just as an advisor, just bringing people through the, you know, just the cycle, getting into investing yourself, or maybe looking into putting money into some of the just Robinhood or Charles Schwab or any of the apps and things like that, or crypto, any of those things there. Of course, you know, that first part there is just, you know, you have the optimism there that you have, you know, you're only thinking about upside as you're initially investing there. And then from there, of course, you know, from the upside there with the euphoria. And then, of course, as the downturn, as we've seen in the last year there, that's when some of the anxiety kind of sets in. And then you kind of have some denial and fear and despair, and then panic, you know, as we're kind of, you know, reaching the bottom. Now, I know you guys are probably hearing a lot about, you know, recessions and things like that. And it just depends, you know, how long that recession is for. We needed some type of market correction there, just where the market was at in general. So just looking at how long that recession is. And then you see at the end there, just looking at just some hope and relief at the end, you know, you have that upside. So it's really just kind of weathering, and that's a bigger thing of what we do, you know, with clients, is just kind of weathering those storms, you know, adjusting as we're going forward. You know, there's no one product that just fits everybody. It just depends on, you know, kind of your situation. Does anybody have any questions just on this first slide here? No questions there. All right. So let me pull up this next one here. there. So this slide just kind of looks at just investing in general. So what you just have there from 2009 to 2019 at the top. So those are just looking at the top market classes there. Just looks at, every single year you've had a top market class there. It's changed year to year. So a lot of times there, when you're looking at just your own investing in general there, it's usually looking at not putting all your eggs into one basket, having a diversified portfolio. And this just kind of shows there that, if on a year-to-year basis there, just looking at just some companies that may be at the top, maybe at the bottom. So if you look at 2010 and 2009, Basic Materials was a top performer in those 2 years. But then in 2011, it was down at the bottom there. And then 2012 there, it was the third, from the bottom there, so you have that fluctuations with the market there. So that's what you're looking at, just being diversified there, doing your research, being comfortable looking at, what your goals are that you have for your investments there. The next, slide I'm going to bring up, just talking about some of those goals there as well. But this is just good to just kind of look at there, just looking at just the different market classes over those years there, just how they've changed. Just taking their turns at the top there, just depending on just, consumer sentiment. Any questions from anybody there? No question there. All right. So this next one I'll bring up there would just be just taking a look at goals to any investing. And this is just something that we kind of use with clients. They're just more looking at just their goals there. So as you can see there, just, you're looking at just goals-based, wealth management solutions there, looking at, anywhere from, 0 years to 10+ years. For some of you there here, you guys may be looking at finishing school, buying homes and things like that there. So that's where you're going to have, that 0 to 4 years, where you're going to be maybe doing some CDs, having some money markets there, just your normal savings and checking, just looking at short-term, getting short interest, for those times there, looking at just having flexibility there, usually looking at lower risk versus lower return. For some of you there, you may be looking at a more longer term there, with, looking at maybe that 5 to 9 years there. And that's where you're going to be maybe looking at some of the fixed deferred annuities there, depending on age there, looking at some mutual funds there, or maybe some uni bonds there. Some sort of different ways for a little bit longer period there, if you're just looking to kind of grow some of the money that you have in your savings and checking. And then long term there, 10 years plus, of course, that's going to be your retirement accounts there. You may be doing some variable annuities depending on where you're working at, maybe your pensions, looking at, just some diversified portfolios through mutual funds. You may be looking at some legacy planning as you get older there with life insurance. But this is, just something that we kind of look at, just time horizons there. For clients there, depending on how much risk they want to take. Every person is different. Even a person who may have over 10 years plus, just looking at time horizon, they may not be as risky as the next investor there. So just looking at, how much risk they want to take with what return, and then what's the time frame there. Because if it's a shorter period there, you probably don't want to take as much risk versus, something a little bit longer there. So do we have any questions there?
Any questions on Zoom? Anyone here in person? Any questions about this? Nope. I think we're ready to move on then the next one.
Yeah. And then just looking at, for those of you who maybe are looking at investing there, there's a lot of research tools that are out there depending on what platforms you're using there. So definitely use those tools there. Just looking at just your investing in general. I'll bring up the next slide there. Just looks at just dollar cost averaging and, what that kind of looks like there. And I think sometimes that gets missed. Just having, time in the market. So this is just a simple slide there, just looking at dollar cost averaging. So instead of just, taking, if you, let's say you guys are getting money there when you graduate there from family and friends there for graduation gifts there, instead of just putting the $6,000 in at once. So just splitting up that $6,000 there over time. As you can see, that first time when you put in $1,000, you bought 100 shares. The second time, 77. The third time, 167. Fourth time, 91. And then the last time, 143 there. So as you're kind of, breaking down like those shares over that time there, that now, at the end there, you bought, 679 shares versus 600 shares, but then your average price is under the original $10 that you bought at 885. So you actually bought it at a discount over that time, and then you still have upside there going forward. So it's a good way to kind of just consistently get yourself in the market there. And you can do this through a lot of different platforms there. You could do something, a lot of them allow you to do something as small as like $25 a week. So it's an easy way for just to get yourself into just investing there, and then just average out your cost over time there, as well as alleviate some risks, but then you still have the ups and downs of markets over that time. And it doesn't have to be like, on a 6 months there. This could be something you spread out, over 12 months. It could be a couple of years there, depending on, what your risk tolerance is and, how much liquid money that you actually have, available to you. So any questions from anybody there?
I guess we have no questions for this.
All right, so I'll go over just usually a lot of questions that I get. So just being in the industry, a lot of times people look at, where do clients come from? Like, how do we prospect there? So we're using all the different tools there, like any of the social media tools, or this Facebook, we're using LinkedIn. We're sending out marketing, emails there, the prospect there. We're still doing postcards and things like that. Still phoning and emailing there for appointments there. So normally, that's how we're bringing in clients, as well as we're still doing the old school, asking people for introductions to other people. And that's how you're kind of building your base there. So with the New York Life company there, it's a full support company there. It just means that, we have product specialists there that will help you as you're kind of growing in the career, whether you're in year one, or we have people who've been here 40 or 50 years. So you have that full support team there, as well as, we look at, all of our agents getting fully licensed just means that you're able to offer any of the products, that we offer there over time there. So wherever you want your career to go there, whether it's staying as an agent, or if you're looking at going into management, because we have some different management positions, you may be looking at those as well, as just other opportunities, outside of just being an agent there. And then you have some flexibility that if you don't like being in management and you want to go back to an agent there, we have a lot of people who do that there. So you do have that flexibility, so you're able to kind of keep your learning going. You're also able to kind of work with the people that you want to work with there, and then you're able to kind of build your career however you want, whether it's individual or if you want to build a team. You have a few different ways there in terms of the career there. So it's a way just to kind of stay in the financial services field. As you guys probably know, it's forever changing. Laws are changing, products are changing, information is changing. I'm pretty sure you guys are probably doing a lot of the TikTok videos and watching the TikTok videos and things like that for information there. So sometimes you may see some of those videos that has 1 million views. So you have something that somebody didn't pay anything for that has 1 million views, just talking about whatever they're offering. So there's just a lot of different ways just of marketing, and we see that as just going forward. That's going to be the new norm. Most of my meetings are just like this. They're on Zoom. There, I'm seeing very few people just in person, maybe once or twice a week there. But most of my meetings are Zoom there. So it's allowed, your outreach that, you could be in any area. Like I'm in Massachusetts, you guys are in New Jersey, but I also have clients in Florida, I have clients in California, Texas there, New York. So you're able to kind of still meet people there, on a more intimate basis, but still just over Zoom versus always having to be in person there or over the phone like it was before, so the whole COVID pandemic there definitely opened up some other opportunities there with just technology there, or just ways that to keep marketing, keep kind of growing your business that way.
I actually do have a question, because we've had a couple speakers that came in here in the past that are actually CFA, CFP certified, but I never heard of FSCP. Can you explain to me what that is, and what was your experience of taking that exam and the exam, the designation, like how prestigious that is for someone in the financial services or even going to wealth management could gain their FSCP?
Yeah, so I would just say with any of the certifications there, it just gives you a little bit more in-depth just information on just working with certain types of clients. Sometimes it's products. With the FSCP, there's just financial services certified professional there. So it's a little bit more holistic plan. So instead of you just offering one product to a client there, you're probably going to look at the whole plan, and you may do a fee-based plan there where you're kind of bringing in what they're doing for retirement, what they have for life insurance, what are they doing for their home insurance, what are they doing for the car insurance there. You're looking at everything that they're doing as a whole and putting that plan together there, looking at different ways for them to save money for themselves, for their kids for college, maybe for themselves for retirement. We may be doing some legacy planning there, depending on age there. So it's a little bit more holistic there. So in terms of like any of the courses there, the American College that, that you can do any of the courses through with any of your certification, they do a good job there with, they have the in-person classes if need be. They also have, of course, the Zoom classes as well. You have self-study there. They have the support, from the professors that you can call anytime. So it's almost like another form of college there that you're able to kind of do professionally going forward there. And you can stretch it out as much as you want there, so like with the FSCP, a lot of the courses, some are 12 months, some are 2 years there, some are 4 years, depending on what you're looking at doing. Myself, I usually try to speed things up. So anything that I can do self-study for the FSCP there is, I think it was about 8 courses there, 7 or 8 courses that you did, but there's really only 4 courses that you needed to do through Zoom and stuff like that. So I just sped up the process and just finished it in a year. So you do have that opportunity there, and it's good just to kind of have as you kind of grow your career there going forward there, just, with that, it kind of gives more validation to sometimes when you're making recommendations to clients.
Thank you for that question. Does anyone else here have any questions? I'll ask my question. Eventually have any questions or did he have one? Oh, we did. All right, I guess I'll ask another one that I had. So we usually have had, I think I've had like a couple of speakers that came in the past. I've asked them this question. I always get different responses on this. So in lieu of what you just told me about the FSCP exam, do you feel like it's more reasonable for anyone who's planning on going to financial planning services or even a wealth management to get both their CFP, CFA, and their FSCP designation, or either or just particularly one? Because I have heard from multiple speakers that came in that they said, oh, all of them, one of them, or, other answers, but I want to get your take on that.
Yeah, so there's a little known fact with the CFP. So if you're looking at the CFP, CHFC, as well as your CLU, those actually go in a line. So the first 3 courses there, you get your CLU, then your next 4 courses, you'll get your CFC. And then from there, you have to take another course, but then an exam for you have to sit for the CFA exam. So with that, you it's usually about a 3 to 4 year window for you to do that there. But with that, you'll actually have the 3 certifications done in that 3 or 4. They're 14 months, sometimes they're 18 months, but a lot of times the courses interchange. So you're able to kind of do those over those times. So I would say any ones that you're looking at there, depending on what you're looking to do, you want to have a little bit of both where, okay, now I have some experience, because like the CFP and things like that, sometimes you have to be 3 years, in the business there. So if you're working towards that, it's good that at the end of that 3 years, if you're working towards that, kind of building your book of business, then you have that, there, as well as, clients like to see, it's kind of like going to see your doctor and seeing the MD. There you see that MD after the name there. Whatever your doctor says, you're just going to go with it because you see the MD. So it's similar to that there. So any of that stuff is good, as well as you keep it. So even if, let's say, you don't stay as an individual producer there or a planner, and you don't stay as that, and let's say you just go work in financial, as well as that, you can always see that there, because you'll see like a lot of times people will have that still. If they're just working at a bank, they'll still have that, if they have their CFP or any of those designations, they'll still have those. They're similar to like an MBA and things like that there, that people will still put that on there, even though they may not be actually using it there.
Okay, I just got someone over there that just wanted me to ask you a question. And then basically we've and I believe this person, he's asked me, that within like some grades, like, you know, maybe like freshmen, sophomores, they've been told like, oh, don't apply for an internship because they're only looking for juniors, seniors. But I have heard from other people in my like realm, in my wheelhouse, because I'm an accounting major. I've heard, oh, you know, apply for as many internships as you can as a freshman, get your name out there. Would you say for someone that is going into the wealth management field or even going to financial services, do you feel like that freshmen, sophomores should actually start applying for internships, or do you feel like they should wait till junior, senior year to get in there, get that internship experience? Because I have heard that it might vary for other majors, like accounting, it might vary from finance and wealth management, but what's your take on that?
Well, I say like anything, if you're doing with business there, I think it's always earlier, the better to get the internships there because you're getting your foot in the door. They're getting to know you. Let's say if you're doing a few different companies over those 4 years there, you know, you're getting kind of see what side you want to be on because not everybody wants to be people facing. You know, some people want to be behind the scenes, you know, so as an intern, you're going to be able to see, you're going to be able to see both. So you'll be able to see some of the background stuff there, as well as, you know, they may actually have you sending out marketing emails. You're able to kind of see some of that side there, you know, so it's always good to do as many. Like we've had some people there who have started. I don't think we've had too many freshmen there, but we had some sophomores, you know, come in and intern and then, you know, come on right after there, you know, so they kind of know what they want to do there going forward. A lot of times they're working with some of our senior agents there on kind of getting themselves going there. And then we had some who just kind of went into like the more back office stuff, you know, as positions kind of opened up there, you know, because we're always growing there. Just, you know, we opened a new office right before COVID started there. We're probably going to open another office there maybe in the next 2 to 3 years as well in the Massachusetts area there, you know, so we're always growing on both sides there, you know, but I would say the earlier the better. You know, you want to get your foot in the door. I even say for new agents who are coming on to us, that you really don't know, even though you may study, get your license, you don't really know if you're going to like doing this until you actually meet somebody. You meet somebody, you start taking information, you build a plan for them, you know, you see if it works there. Like that's the only way you're going to know. You're not going to know any of that stuff there. You know, it's similar to graduating with your college degree. A lot of times you'll graduate, you go into the field and it's not really what you want to do. You may go do something else for a while, maybe come back to it, you know, there, you know, so you meet.
All right. Anyone else have any questions here? Oh, wow. I got a bunch of hands here. Yes. All right. What was that question? I believe someone asked me, they couldn't show up to the meeting today, but they wanted me to ask you this. How important is to network in like any business major you're going to? Because this person's a freshman, like they're kind of thinking about maybe going to business, maybe going to wealth management, maybe finance, but can you talk about the importance about networking and like, you know, how to balance your network of like people that you recommend and, you know, how like mainly the importance of networking? Can you explain a little bit more about that to our members? Because we do have some freshmen, sophomores in here who are starting to get, because funny enough, we're actually having a career fair in 2 weeks and they actually be networking with these professionals. And obviously we would want to hear from professionals, you know, how would they network, you know, how to keep your network stable and, you know, how to build relationships off of that.
Well, I would say with networking, you never want to burn bridges. You never know, like it could be 10 years from now. Now this person ends up being the hiring manager or somewhere you're applying there, and they remember that time that you didn't show up to work and things like that there. So you never want to burn bridges on that side, as well as like some networking is really just kind of going to events, getting to know people, they know your name. Now you have different social media links like LinkedIn and stuff like that where you what you offer, you know, kind of looking at those different pieces just on the networking pieces there. So with what I do, I'm what I'm doing, what I'm offering, and sometimes it's just being that person, the go-to person. That now they know that you're connected to 10 other people or 10 other indices, and then from there you're able to kind of connect them, and you end up being that connecting person there. Where now, you know, over time you maybe just gain business and whatever you're doing from there. You know, so for that person, the freshman, sophomore, you want to make sure that you're networking as much as possible. Any person that you're running into, that you're meeting, there, like I've met people from Massachusetts, in California, in Florida, in Texas, all different places there. A lot of times I'll say, hey, here's my contact information. When you get back to Mass, definitely look me up, and stay connected to, from there.
Another question I've gotten asked about, obviously with, and actually it's kind of a funny question because I've actually asked this about the CFP exam. And I know you've taken your FSCP exam. Can you explain to our members, like what is the exam procedure for the FSCP exam? Like, is it like, because for me, I'm taking the CPA exam as an accounting major. I've heard there's like 4 levels of the exam, and then there's an ethics pledge. Can you explain to our members who might be curious about taking the FSCP in the near future, what are the requirements for it, how to take the exam, and what would be some like the general concepts they would have to know?
Yeah, so just looking at the FSCP there, so they're going to talk about all different types of insurance, all different types of investments there. So it's not looking at you being an expert at one, just knowing some basics there. Some basics on car insurance, home insurance, basic on mutual funds, fee-based planning there. So you're going to need to know some basics on that there. So with those 7 to 8 courses there, each course usually has, some have like practice exams and then final exams, but then at the end of the FSCP there, then you have a last like 50 question. And mostly all the certifications are also all the same outside of the CFP. CFP is like you're taking your 9 courses, but then at the end you have a whole separate exam there that you have for your CFP's course there. So it's a little bit more extensive than that there. And that's why you see with that there, you won't see many people with the CFP because you have to put time into that there. That's, looking at probably about 4 years for you to finish that there. So a lot of times you'll see advice is one of the newer ones that they've had, and they have a few more newer ones that they're coming out that are more specialized there. So the FSCP is looking at more holistic planning there. They also have a wealth management one. That's probably the one that I'm going to start working on next, where you're just specializing just in wealth management and just kind of looking at just the goal-based planning. They also have some that are looking at just legacy planning there and things like that. They have some that's also looking at families where they have children with disabilities, so it just depends on where you want your specialty to be in to kind of differentiate yourself from somebody else.
That is interesting. I know that I actually never ever heard about that, but apparently I learned something new. We actually learned something new to everybody. Another thing that I've asked, and I've asked this to like multiple people in my career, do you think time management, and I've heard this from like one person, and I've kind of like stick by it, like time management is the key to success. Do you feel like if a college does not implement time management skills right now, they're not going to succeed in the near future? Because like, I honestly think, in my opinion, that time management is key because you need to manage your time, how to prioritize, and what's, the most important thing in your life. But do you feel like time management is key to succeeding in life and obviously, moving on with your career?
Yeah, so it's one of the biggest things. So a lot of times then when you have multiple things that you need to do, if you're trying to focus on 10 things there, a lot of times you don't complete any of them, or you kind of halfway complete all 10 there, so they never really get done, versus just saying which is the most important that needs to get done immediately and doing that one first, and then just knocking out those 10 over those time there. So for myself, like how you had read earlier about me having the 2 bachelors, so I actually did 2 bachelors in 5 years, but that was only because the guidance person who was there at the college was like, hey, instead of you taking all the electives, why don't you take these that are also in the same field as business there? And you literally in 5 years, you can actually finish up your 2 bachelors in that time there. So from there, I started understanding, the time, as well as I look at, having 2 meetings a day. And, with that 2 meetings a day is usually 10 a week, and just kind of keeping that pace there. And it's really just putting in the time that I'm making sure I'm reaching out, I'm marketing, I'm scheduling that time. I'm looking at bringing on a new assistant there as well for this year. To kind of help with some of that scheduling there. You'll see how much more productive they are. And it could be with everything, because it could be making sure that your family time is in there. If you're married, you have children there, you're hanging out with your friends, that stuff is there, like in your schedule there, because you want to make sure that outside of work and what you're doing for school, that you have time for those things.
Yeah, we definitely have something here, something similar to what you did, but it's a 4+1 program. So it's basically, you do your 4 years of bachelor's degree, and then you can actually start taking your master's courses, your part of your spring semester, your senior year, and then finish it off in the following year, which, it's kind of pretty cool because I'm actually planning on doing that for accounting. I'm actually going to go for my MS in accounting. So, kind of fun to go through that whole thing. And it's actually required to take the CPA exam, actually take that. But just speaking on maybe with working, I've heard from, and I don't know who released this. I know someone released it, I think on the web, that basically, I don't know which firm it was. I think it might have been Goldman Sachs. They're telling their employees to come back like 3 times a day in the office, and then 2 days out of the week just go remote. And I personally feel on this is like I'd rather work in the office 5 days a week than when we get the in-person experience, get like the hands-on experience, and also get the network of people. Do you feel like, in your opinion, with today's world that's going on right now, do you feel like we're transitioning more to a hybrid style where some days you go in person, some days you don't go in person, completely virtual, or, force everyone to go back in the office in person?
Yeah, so we're almost a complete hybrid right now there. So we have, because of the Zoom meetings there, we have, we used to have meetings there just in our office where we'd have 600 people plus in person. So we won't have any more of those days, not for the foreseeable future there. So we're complete hybrid, but I do believe that in person there, you just learn more. You're going to learn more, different things that people are doing that's working, that's not working there. You might have a quick question there. Instead of you sending an email or a text there, the person is 2 doors down, you can go ask them there. So you definitely miss that. So we definitely see more production there from people that are coming into the office there, that they're learning more, they're picking up more, especially for a newer person there. You're never going to learn those same things. Like, even we had a meeting at our home office that's in Waltham, Mass recently, and we had some agents, because they started during COVID, they actually never been there. That was actually their first time there. So now they actually saw the organization as a whole, saw, how large, we are here, kind of seeing that stuff there. So I completely understand the hybrid there, but I think the in-office piece there, you're going to miss that there. And you've seen it even for the younger kids there, even for kids in their teens and younger there, where some of those kids may have said that they didn't really like going to school, but then they missed the whole interaction of being around those kids there, and some of their friends that they did talk to, they kind of missed that stuff there. So I think getting back to, even if it's the 3 or 4 days there and the 1 or 2 days at home there, at least that hybrid there. But I think we're leaning towards more just in-person days there, Monday through Friday there, and just kind of getting everybody back into the office. And we're doing a lot of things to get people back. Like, we have cornhole tournaments there and things like that in the office. And as it gets warmer, we'll do some stuff outside, just different things that kind of just get everybody to get together, because a lot of people, because of the Zoom, just haven't met each other. They haven't got to know each other there.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with you on that. Even just to touch on like what are the things do you feel like someone who wants to go into wealth management, like, what do you think that the key qualities that they would need to have? Like, or even put yourself in a position, like, if you were hiring someone for your company, what would you look for in someone who's like maybe planning, going for an internship or maybe going for a full-time role?
Yeah, so there's a few things that I learned. First, are you coachable? So the coachable is a big piece there, is being coachable there. So, like, you don't have a boss here. People are going over, these are the things that kind of work, how you're building your career, and they're showing you how to do it, and they're supporting you on those things there. So being coachable, also being able to adjust. We have no 2 days that are the same here. You could have a day where you have 5 appointments. You can have a day where you had 1 appointment there. So it's being able to adjust there, as well as you got to be a people person. It's virtually impossible to help people and work with people if you're not a people person there, so I would say those 3 things, there for somebody that's that, because we can teach all the rest. We can teach you about products. We can teach you about growing your business, building your team, whatever you want to do there. We're very good at that. If you just look at New York Life's history on education, they're big on education. We host, just educational webinars. We have another one coming up next week there, where we're just giving the community information. So that's never going to be a problem. You're going to learn here. You're never going to have that issue there. But it's, those other 3 pieces there. And the biggest one is just being coachable.
That's great to hear that. What would you say? Because I know we have, like, in this room right now, we have like a bunch of like underclassmen, and some of them are right now not really like sure, like, oh, I want to do wealth management, I want to do finance, I want to do financial services. What advice would you give to them? Like, if they're on like the fence, like for some freshmen who are just coming their second semester, like, oh, I don't know what I want to do yet, or maybe for a sophomore who's like, okay, I got to make a decision this semester what I'm going to do. Am I going to do wealth management? Am I going to do finance? What advice would you give to those undergrads?
Yeah, so do an intern at some local firms. From that intern, actually see if you can get yourself paired with somebody who's been there 10 plus years. See if you can pair with somebody there and just kind of be their kind of like lackey for a few weeks there and just kind of follow them around, ask them questions there. Don't be afraid to do that piece there. Just tell them about their experiences there. So that's how you're kind of see like, okay, is this for you? Because sometimes it may not be the right time for you right now, but it could be 5 years out where you're like, okay, now I'm kind of ready for this there. And it may be just those conversations you have with that person, or that person who's there for, over that decade, maybe looking to bring in somebody like you, where now you're working under them there. So you're not coming in kind of like with cold feet, you're coming under somebody. And then now that person kind of guiding you there going forward until you kind of grow, on your own there, so those are some different ways. But the intern is a good way just to kind of get your feet wet, get in there, see, what you like, you don't like. And then from there, you can go from there.
Interesting. Even like, I'll even ask this because I know we have a couple of our seniors and maybe even grad students are here tonight, actually. Do you have any internship opportunities at your company? Because even though we are based in New Jersey, some of our graduate students there are willing to relocate whatever they want to. But do you have any internship opportunities that you would like to share with our members that you do?
Yeah, so we have offices in every state. So they have offices in every state there. I can definitely reach out to you and let you know like which offices are closest to where you guys are at there. So we have offices in every state. We're definitely always looking at taking in interns. So one good thing about like if you are the junior or senior and interning with us, so we do assist with you getting licensed and things like that there. So those licenses are yours there. So let's say you figure out, hey, this is not for me at this time there, those licenses are yours, which makes you more marketable there as you're kind of going out into the workforce there. So it's not something like, oh, we own those licenses for you. No, those licenses belong to you there going forward.
That's amazing to hear that. What would be the one piece of advice you would want to give to yourself if you had to go back in time and you had to talk to yourself like back your freshman year of college? What would be the one piece of advice you would give them? And what would be one thing that you would change if you had to?
So if I could go back to my freshman year, I would have took no electives because I actually could have got my accounting degree with like 3 more classes as well there. So I would have took no more electives there. So I definitely would have changed that there. And what was the second part of the question there?
What would be one piece of advice you would actually, well, wait, what was one thing you can do differently than what you did in college? Like, what's the one piece that you said, oh, I wish I could have did this, but I didn't do it that time? Like, what was the one piece?
I would just say network more. I think the first couple of years there, maybe until maybe my junior year, even though playing sports, just didn't network as much as I should have there because both schools that I went to UMass Lowell first and then ended up at St. Joe's. Both were in the Northeast there. Definitely could have networked a little bit more early on. I still keep in contact with those and I was there, but, you're looking at UMass Lowell has like 20,000 kids that go to school there, so that would have been an easy just place to just network there. So probably just networked a little bit more in those early years and kind of took advantage of, when I went to the smaller school, just staying connected to some of those business teachers and stuff like that there. Of course, that can always assist you, later on there as you're kind of running into people. And I still run into just people from some of those schools just randomly, nowadays anyways.
Do you have any good stories about any piece of advice you were given in life, like maybe like any advice towards your career? You have like a good story you could tell us about that?
Yeah. So just one of my first meetings with one of our senior development team managers here in the Bridgewater office at that time, we were just kind of looking over just my book of business at that time. I think it was maybe 6 or 7 months in. And we were just kind of going over just, where I wanted to be and what did I want to do. And he just said kept it simple. He's like, you just got to keep it simple there. Don't make it complicated, there. Just keep it simple. Like somebody has an idea of what they want to do. If you can actually fulfill that idea, just start there and just kind of keep that stuff simple. So I've kind of just kept that going forward, just kind of keeping it simple because sometimes it's complicated in terms of the wealth management if we're moving pieces around and we're doing different things there and we're going over terminology there. But sometimes it's just as simple as you want to retire at 67, you need about this amount of money. If we earn 7 or 8%, this is what you're going to receive. If we do this over that time, this is how we do it. And just kind of keeping it simple there, and, just kind of keeping that going forward. So I talked to a lot of people just about that piece.
That's great to hear that. Even I wouldn't even ask this. God, I completely blanked on the question. Oh no, I remember. Do you think? Oh yeah, where do you see the wealth management industry going in the next 5-10 years?
So I think in the next, probably not even 10, probably in the next 5 years, that's all everybody's going to be doing. Because the way that they've changed some of the licensing there, they've added different pieces just on, options trading, to some of the base licenses which wasn't there before. I think that's where they're going towards there, because some of the fees that through some of the fee base, over time it ends up being less. So I think the industry is kind of looking at lesser and less fees there going forward, just from when I've started, 12 years ago to where it's at now. You're looking at sometimes a half a basis point, which is a big difference there over that time there that you dropped. So I think they're going to be looking at more of that. They're just making it just easier for people to get in, as well as just looking at some of the platforms there had like minimums there, like in terms of how much you can invest, like 50,000 was sometimes a minimum, which of course not many people just have 50 grand just sitting around, for them to invest. So they're starting to lower some of those limits there on that. So I think that's going to allow more people to kind of get into, having their money managed. And of course, if you get more people into having the money managed, you're going to have more people kind of getting into that field there. And I don't think that's 10 years out. I think that's probably 5 years from all the changes I've seen in the last 3 years.
Well, even adding on to that question, because I know artificial intelligence has been involving every single day of our lives. And do you feel like what realm of wealth management, do you feel like it'll be taken over by AI and computers, or do you feel like you still need a human like part of like wealth management? Like, do you feel like, to put it more simply, do you feel like AI is going to take over all the wealth management positions in the near future with now the revelation of ChatGPT and OpenAI coming out? Do you feel like, maybe AI is going to take over those positions, or do you feel like we still need that human interaction, and obviously the human error that we do need?
Yeah, so like with the AI piece there, and it's already here, especially on our side, it's already here where like sometimes it actually will give you suggestions on, this client, with their situation. These are maybe some products you should be offering. So we're already seeing that. We've probably been seeing that the last 4 or 5 years, just like that piece there. But I think you're still always, because there's a LIMRA there, so that they actually do like just life insurance studies there on just, clients and, what they're looking for. So their last study that they actually did was that, I think it was almost 80% of consumers that buy life insurance actually search it first online, but then want to talk to a person. So they want to research it first there, but then they still want to talk to a person after they've done their research there. So they want to research that person. They want to research the company, what they're offering, what types of products they're, the background on the company. And then they still want to talk to a physical person. So I think AI will be part of those searches and helping people with those searches there. But I think people are still always going to want to buy from just a person. They're always going to want to be able to want to talk to a person.
Can you explain to us I know you explained it a little bit, but can you go more in depth about the day in the life of someone who's in the wealth management field? Because, we do have some, inspiring young underclassmen that actually have been eager. They actually been asking me, they're like, oh, do you know what a wealth management, advisor does? And I'm like, listen, come to one of our meetings. You'll hear one of our speakers come and talk to us about it. So can you explain, go more in depth about what you do in your day, your life? Like maybe talk to us about like the most important things that you do in your, career.
I would say the most important is staying calm. Like people are going to call you there looking at trying to put out fires there. So you have to listen first, stay calm, listen to what they say, listen to what the actual question they have, and then answer from there. That's what you're doing on a daily basis, especially with this past year. Of course, people seeing their accounts go down 20, 30% there, so it's literally just putting out fires, just looking at what was the time frame, what you're looking for. Do they need the money tomorrow? Is this money that's set for 10 years from now? So those are your daily things there, and, as well as that you may be, you're going to be networking on a daily basis there. You're going to be sending out emails, looking to meet with other professionals. Some of your larger clients are going to come from those other professionals there, because as much as we may have all the knowledge in the world, if they're CPAs, you say they're like, you're going for that. If the CPA says, hey, you should just do that, a lot of times you're just going to do it based on the CPA. They're not even going to care what the product is or anything, just because the CPA said it or the attorney said it. They're just going to go do it. So you want to make sure that, you're networking a lot with those, attorneys and the CPAs, the accountants, the enrolled agents there. You're going to want to make sure that you're staying connected to them on a daily basis there. But those, the biggest thing, you're just staying calm. Staying calm. You're going to see ups and downs there. I've seen definitely ups in the market. I've seen downs in the market there. I've seen different types of products that have been coming out there, some good, some bad. They're just staying calm there and just kind of staying the course there with your clients there. And your clients will actually love you for it there. I get invited to birthday parties and weddings and retirement parties and kids parties and stuff like that. Then, you want to make them kind of extended part of your family.
That I definitely agree with on that. And even just to even add on a little bit, I know we talked about networking, but how important it is in college, just to get out there and just to get involved, because I've actually taken this quote from my high school vice principal back in the day. And he always told me this, my senior year of high school, which I really didn't do at the time because I really wasn't that involved, but I really did when I got in my freshman year. And that is to get involved. Do you feel like, for freshmen, they should start getting involved a lot, or do you feel like it's based off preference? Like, oh, it depends on like how this person's feeling. Cause I definitely feel like, in my opinion, you should just get involved and see what's out there. And if there's something that, intrigues you, take it. But, what's your take on that? Do you feel like, they should start to go out there and get involved in clubs and get involved in like organizations like, NJCPA, the CFP board, as an example?
Yeah, I always say get involved with stuff that you like to do, because people pick up on if it's something you don't like to do. So if you like doing, if you like playing sports and coaching and you're coaching younger generations, you do that. If you like being part of any business clubs and things like that, do stuff that you like doing, because like with that there, it's going to help you in terms of just having conversations with people and things like that. Like I can even tell you a story that like, I've been going to the same YMCA since I was like maybe 12 years old. Now there's a guy who was there who was just kind of coming up the ranks, and now he's the head of the YMCA. Now he has me come in and I'm doing speaking engagement for some of the parents that are coming in, some of the employees there, because he's just seen me for the last 30 years. They're just coming in. We have like little short talks there. So he saw me when I was working in retail, and then from retail now getting into this field. So he's been kind of just seeing my growth there. So you want to make sure that it's stuff you like doing there, and then you're just you're being polite there when you're meeting with people and things like that there, because you never know, there may be opportunities later on. But do stuff that you like doing first. You're going to have some other stuff that you may do a one-off there, or something that you don't like doing, just to kind of fill it out and see how it is there. But it's always better. Like I do some of the food banks and things like that there from time to time, and that's something I like doing. So I don't mind if it's cold outside, if it's warm, it's raining, it's whatever there, because I actually like doing it, helping out, with the local food court thing that they have there locally here, so you want to do some stuff you like doing.
Yeah, I definitely would, I would definitely advise all our members to do that. Obviously, even to come to this club, just to attend these meetings, you're actually getting, the network experience, you're able to network with these professionals. It's just great that what we offer here. What would be the one piece of advice you want to leave with these students tonight? Obviously, I know we have a wide range of, I know some of them in this room, I can't really know names, but I know some of you are accounting majors, some are finance, some are like wealth management majors. Like, what's the one piece of advice you want to, give to these students? Obviously,
Ask questions. So if you're in front of anybody, ask questions there. So a lot of times you may think your question is a dumb question there, but a lot of times there may be 3 or 4 people who have the same question there. So ask questions there. So if you guys are doing this, let's say on a monthly basis, you guys are having speakers come in, just have one question. It could be just something, it doesn't even have to be something to do with their field. You could be saying personally, how did you get in or get out, whatever it may be. Just have your one question there, because then that may be opens up other stuff that you were thinking about there. Like that's what I've always done in this career. Anytime I'm in front of anybody there, like I don't really care about the products. Products come, they change, there all the other stuff. I'm big on language and hearing how people speak, and how they present themselves and things like that, and hearing that. So I have no problem asking a person, hey, how'd you get that? How did you do that there? What was that conversation like? And just kind of keeping that stuff as simple as possible.
I'll even actually add on to that question. How did you get into wealth management? Where did your because I know I've been asked this question on a bunch of interviews, like why did you choose accounting as your major? But for you, doing wealth management, why did you choose wealth management and how did you fall in love with it?
So I actually fell in love probably with the people more than anything. So just literally helping them get to wherever their goals are, or sometimes getting them started. So a lot of times there, as much as this is a large field, you'd be very surprised, how much little people are actually looking at their finances. And just looking at that and just understanding like you can help somebody there kind of get to their goals and kind of seeing that there. Like even earlier today, I had a retiree that I met with 2 years ago there who came in this morning, who's now retired. So we're talking about, hey, these are your next steps, got to his point there. So we're looking at, getting him, going forward there, so just kind of seeing people kind of get to those goals there. I think that's it. The products change. They change every couple of years, things change. Like the limits just went up again on retirement accounts there, so that stuff changes all the time there. But the people there, it's always good kind of helping them if you can kind of get to those goals there. And sometimes it's also good there for those who you can't even help, because sometimes they're going to remember you later on and then maybe come back to you, because not everybody's going to become a client immediately. So maybe 2 years, 3 years, just like the guy earlier today, that now they're coming back to you and they're like, oh yeah, what we talked about before. Now I'm ready to do that.
Any last minute questions for our guest speaker today? Anyone before I ask my final one? Guys, don't listen. You guys can put in the chat on Zoom. You guys can, come up here and I'll basically step aside. You can ask me if you're too afraid. Believe me. Okay. All right. I'll ask my final question of the night. Obviously, with wealth management, it is a big field, and when I've heard about it, I said to myself, like, what is wealth management? Until I became, president of the club. And I'm like, wow, the door's wide open. But I think I might have asked this earlier, but just to hammer it down one more time. Obviously, I know you mentioned, asking questions, but for anybody who is wondering about maybe deciding to go wealth management, what advice would you give to them? Thinking when they're on the path, like, oh, I want to do finance, but I do not know if I want to do CFP, if I wanted to do finance or do like economics, like what would be that like piece of advice you would want to give to that person?
Yeah, so get with a company that's good on the education side. So they're good on the education, good on support there. So get with that company like where that's their main thing that you're learning as you're kind of growing there. So then you're kind of seeing where you want to go. If you want to get into the CFP there, if you just want to handle assets there, things like that there. So like any of those things, a lot of times is based on that company and that company's support system there. So you want to see what that is. So as you're interviewing and stuff like that, you can ask like, for if you hire 100 people this year, how many are here in 2 years? How many are here in 4 years? How many are here in 10 years? What is your retention like there? What does your support systems look like? What is your education there? Do you have reimbursements for education there? So for like us there with any of the certifications there, it's full reimbursement there. So what is your company doing to get people better there? Is that their intent, and things like that there? And those are things you can see right from the interview process. Sometimes companies don't have any of those things in place. There, you may be somebody who's coming in who's helping them set those things up and kind of get those things started there. So you want to see those things as you kind of start.
All right. Any last minute questions for our speaker here tonight? Going once on Zoom, going twice in person. Sold. All right. Well, again, Rodney, I thank you so much for taking time out of your busy night to come and speak to us tonight. You were a really awesome speaker for us. Thank you again for coming and speak to us today. And we hope you have, and we wish you good luck on taking your wealth management exam, obviously. Thank you so much for coming to speak to us. And thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me there. I would just continue doing what you guys are doing there. Information is always key there, so keep bringing people in and, sharing that information in, and definitely you guys have a good evening there. I know we'll talk again in the future.
And definitely we should all connect with them on LinkedIn, right? We want to make sure we connect with them, maintain our connection like we talked about tonight, guys, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just add me. You could just add me.
All right. Well, thank you so much and have a great rest
All right,
of
you
your
guys.
night.